There are a lot of ways that you can add immersion and props into your games. I love having visual aids because my players love having that tactile feeling, and it's so satisfying to see that aha moment as they review these things. So I wanted to throw some of my favorite visual aids at you today, and I use the term visual aids because not all of these are actual props, but rather ways to enhance your in-person games and help set the mood just a little bit more. Hi folks, I'm Misty, this is Misty Steps. Kick off your shoes, get comfy, let's get into it, and let's talk props and visual aids. I love running murder mysteries and investigation type games, so I have found it really fun to provide an evidence folder. This is one that I got off of Amazon as a set of two for fairly cheap that I liked because it was flat and compact, but also still had a very vintage look. Another option that you could do is just use a normal file folder that may or may not come from your corporate job's supply closet. Or you could find maybe an old briefcase from a vintage thrift shop, which is what I'm planning to do for a future 1920s game with my dad's old vintage briefcase. The exciting part of this evidence folder is that I love giving them with evidence already in it. It's fine if they've found evidence in the past before acquiring this, but maybe if they're exploring the hospital, they see this on a doctor's desk and can take it, and it's a physical prop of evidence that they find, but also has weight to the world. Once they find it, even if they just choose to copy the actual information and leave it on the desk, this provides a physical version for players and characters both to look over in the future. I personally keep this with me and my DM stuff so that it doesn't get lost or forgotten in someone's car or accidentally thrown out in a move, but it also allows them to have a location to store additional evidence that is separate from any other props that I might provide in a game. The next visual aid that I really liked is actually not something that I've done, but something I will be stealing in the future, courtesy of one of my husband's DM friends, is that he gave a torn up piece of map to my husband. So this is the area that my husband would know on the world map, very familiar. This is where his character is from. In this game, all of the characters are from different parts of the map, so when they get together, that map will puzzle piece together to reveal the full image. I loved this because my husband's character got to explore the places he knew, got to do some pre-game sessions to really learn this area and become an expert on this part of the world and have weight in that. And as a DM, I also like it because now my husband's character is the resident expert here, so if I forget something, he can also remember it for me. This piece in particular looks like it was printed out on some pretty nice parchment, but you could probably do something very similar with just an incarnate map printed out or any other free option. But I love the idea that all of the characters have buy-in and have weight in this world because they are responsible for a literal piece of the world and of the map. I'm sure I've talked about mood lighting before, but lighting really is such a huge part of setting a tone for a game. Smart bulbs that change color to go into any light fixture is a pretty easy way to do mood lighting. I've mentioned this before, but Pat, my husband, made this game table, and in the future we have plans to put LEDs in the vault as well so that we can have that mood lighting shining on the actual battlefield without it taking up the entire space and making it difficult to write notes in blue lighting. However, the part that I really want to highlight here is our lanterns. The lanterns that we have hanging in this room, as well as the one that I have here, are actually decorations from our wedding reception. I got them secondhand on Facebook Marketplace for our wedding, and we've now repurposed them because I just love the aesthetic of them. I put some fake eucalyptus and some fairy lights in there that are battery operated, and they look really cool. There's some LEDs that are also remote controlled, so that can really help set a mood as well. They don't really give off a ton of extra light to write by, but the vibes and being able to light them to just set a mood works really well without impacting someone's ability to take notes. And speaking of lanterns, part of the reason why this one is separate from all the others that are hanging is because this one is special. I found fairy lights that are black light. So when I turn this on, they glow blue-purple like some magical Feywild fireflies. Since they're black light, that means that I can have invisible ink, and if my players happen to find some magical fireflies in a hag's lair, they can find some secret messages. The opportunities for invisible ink and UV blacklight is pretty endless. Maybe it's a secret cult that's writing an illusory script. Maybe it is how you write in your illusory script in your game. Or maybe you're only doing it for very specific Feywild nonsense. But it is something really fun, and I'm really excited to see my players' reaction when they figure this out. Because this lantern has been sitting on my shelf right next to me as a DM for the past 8 months or so, and they haven't clocked it. Again, not all of these are super in-depth crafts. Not all of them are going to take a ton of time or a ton of funds. But if you use what you have around you, or you happen to see a good deal at a thrift store or on Facebook Marketplace, there's always options to make something have a little bit more whimsy or a little bit more drama in your game room or at your game table. If you have a favorite prop that makes a really big impact at your table, please let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.